I'm Sarah Jensen, editor of OEM Off Highway, and welcome to Design and Engineering Insights. Today, I'll be speaking with Niel Mardell, Product Manager for Heavy Vocational Products and Defense Program Manager at Link Manufacturing, about some of the new technologies the company has developed recently. So thank you for joining me today, Niel.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
So if you could maybe start by talking about the development of the new 85K AirLink tandem drive chassis suspension that was introduced earlier this year, kind of maybe how or why the development of that came about. Were there any sort of industry challenges you guys were trying to provide a solution for, or you could just kind of start with that?
Absolutely. We're very excited about the 85K AirLink suspension because it's really a crossover product from our defense product line. The 85K was originally developed 9 years ago for very specific military applications, which had some rather demanding requirements. And we always felt that meeting those requirements, there was an opportunity to provide a superior, high-capacity, high-performance suspension for the commercial market. So we're absolutely delighted that Mack honored us with taking our suspension for their heavy dump trucks. The suspension is also available on other OEM platforms. It is available through Kenworth and Navistar. But what we particularly excited us about this is that it's a proven product. It's been in use with both the US military and foreign militaries now for many years, so there are no bugs or wrinkles in it. It's a thoroughly proven product. You might say, what is the benefit, if you will, of some of the features that we feel apply so well to the commercial world? A couple of them are the fact that it can operate without air. And you might say, well, what's the point in an air suspension that operates without air? For us, it's for commercial operators who have vehicles far away from workshops. If you're 150 miles away from your workshop and you blow an airbag, you don't want to have to send a maintenance crew out there to recover the truck. The vehicle can, in fact, get back to the workshop, loaded or unloaded. It can finish the task and get home. For people operating open pit mines, the nightmare scenario is halfway up the haul road out of the pit, a truck breaks down and your entire operation comes to a standstill. That doesn't happen with the AirLink suspension. You can get out, empty the truck, and then get to the workshop. So that we felt is a particular benefit in the commercial world. Obviously, the military implications don't need to be mentioned. They're so painfully obvious. The other thing that, because we've always focused on roll stability for our suspensions, we have two height control valves. And what this allows you to do, the typical situation, and any dump truck operator will tell you, when someone's loading the dump truck from the side, you know, depending on the skill of the guy with the front end loader, he might load all the cargo on one side of the dump box. And we've all seen dump trucks going down the road leaning one way or the other because the cargo is not evenly spread across the box. With the AirLink suspension, because we control each side of the suspension independently, it doesn't matter. The truck will always be level, even if the cargo or the aggregate is heavily weighted to one side. This has benefits not just with dump trucks, but we've had a lot of interest with the lighter versions of the AirLink for refuse collection and cement mixer operation, where the drum is rotating and you tend to get this offset. You know, the truck, you've seen an older trucks after a while in that application, they actually develop a lean and they continue down the road leaning to one side. We totally eliminated that. And that is a feature that obviously was very attractive for our 46 and 52K AirLinks and transitioned into our 60, 65K AirLinks, which are finding a lot of acceptance in industry. And obviously, it's what you get with the 85K as well. So I hope I've answered your question on that.
Definitely. So are there maybe any other unique features or benefits that the suspension provides? I know you were kind of touching on some of them there, but are there any others?
Yes, absolutely. Normally with a suspension, especially a steel suspension, the more you load it, the more the spring deflects, obviously, and then the less wheel travel you have. So you're trading off ride quality with payload. With the air link suspension, the ride height always remains the same. There is no loss of articulation. So whether you're loaded fully or empty, you get full wheel travel. This gives you two things. One, it allows the suspension to manage the bumps, the low frequency things that you find, while you have the benefit of the air suspension taking care of the high frequency, that buzz that you can get in the cab sometimes. So it provides a full spectrum of ride quality. In fact, independent tests have proven that the air link with solid axles, with straight axles, provides a ride quality similar to an independent suspension, which is unheard of. Um, the other benefit of that is that because it has a walking beam, the load is always distributed equally between both drive axles. We don't get axle hop, and we believe we are the only manufacturer that offers 100% off-highway rating and on-highway rating. So the 85K suspension is rated at 85K wherever the driver is brave enough to take the truck, and that is the case with all of our suspensions. Um, so we focus very much on it being a performance suspension for those applications that demand more than one would normally expect from a regular commercial suspension.
Okay. So I know the announcement about the new suspension mentioned that there's some features that help improve operator comfort. Could you maybe talk about those? What aspects help with that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the primary area that provides driver comfort is the airbag, air suspension element of it. And what we do is we have large volume airbags at a relatively conservative air pressure, which then gives an extremely smooth ride. Not only does it provide comfort for the driver, but it also reduces damage to the cab, the vehicle structure in general. I think we've all been in trucks which are a few years old and you feel everything is loose. There's a lot of squeaks and rattles and just uh, general loose feeling. That is reduced substantially using the air link suspension. We've been able to eliminate those high frequency vibrations. The whole vehicle stays a lot tighter, which is good for the electrical system, the brake system. You don't start getting these small things failing, these niggly things that don't work as well as they used to when you have an air suspension. And I should sort of mention that the origins of the air link suspension were for extreme service, off-road, oil patch operations, where the trucks with traditional suspensions had to go into the workshop and basically be rebuilt in the off season. With the air link suspension, it eliminated that need to go and put your truck back together again. Now, that's a pretty extreme. So for most heavy vocational applications, they the benefits are generally apparent within 1 to 2 years of operation. In terms of the suspension itself, it's a very simple design. It's quite lightweight, even though the components look large, they're hollow. And we've custom designed every weld, every item on that suspension is tailored for the application. Um, a little thing that we do, our suspension is made of fabricated parts, but we use continuous welding throughout the suspension to eliminate rust buildup inside components. We also use our link coat proprietary paint system, which is a migratory system. It's kind of freaky to watch it. It heals itself. So we've looked at every aspect of the suspension in heavy vocational use and said, what can cause a problem for the operator? How can we eliminate that? And that's been our focus from the ground up. Every area of that suspension is looked at from the point of view of minimizing maintenance, easing maintenance. There are no special tools or special gadgets needed to maintain our suspension. In fact, for most applications, all we ask that you do is you just check the bushings once a year and make sure no bolts are loose. And that's your maintenance regime. There are no wearing parts that need to be replaced on a regular basis with an air-link suspension.
Okay, great. And so I know you kind of touched on the types of applications that it could be utilized for, but are you able to maybe go into some of those a little bit more, or maybe some examples of something where it's benefited in a particular application?
Yes, what we've actually found is with people doing dump truck operations, hauling aggregate out of a pit or something like that, the Airlink has given them a ride quality when they're laden, which is superior to what they get with a steel suspension. But also, it allows the backhaul to be conducted when they're empty at a higher speed. So they benefit from good ride quality in the laden condition and the fact that there's even better ride quality when it's running empty compared to a steel suspension or a rubber block suspension. So the return speeds can be as fast as the loaded speeds. And that sounds a little counterintuitive that you think that you can go faster when you're empty. But with a solid suspension, the ride becomes so harsh when you're riding empty that you actually drive slow. So the Airlink gives you the ability to safely and comfortably travel at the maximum permitted speeds, both laden and empty. And if you're doing a haul, as you appreciate, if you're hauling out of a pit, maybe 8, 10, 14 times a day, that return speed allows you 1 or 2 or maybe 3 extra loads to be hauled out in a single shift, which is all, goes directly to the bottom line. So that's where we feel that it aids in efficiency and improves your return on investment. Similar thing with cement mixers. It does allow the operator to travel at a comfortable speed without pounding the vehicle to pieces when he's returning back to take another load of aggregate.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and provide some more insight into the new suspension technology.
Thank you very much, Sarah. We always stand ready to help our customers and to make their business more successful.